Hello and welcome to the History Help channel. So, we are learning about historiography, that is the third section in historiography subject. Today we'll be looking into the modern historiography. So earlier we learned about the ancient historiography that consisted of Greek and Roman period. Then we looked into medieval historiography, which was more about church historiography and Arab historiography. In this slide, we will look into the modern era or the modern historiography. So, what defines a modern historiography? So, there are a couple of points. So, until now, the ancient period or the medieval period was about kings, about battles, about church, was about events. But in modern historiography, a lot more things came into picture. So it was not just about politics. History became more broad. The scope of the modern age itself was very wide. So even the history became more broader. It encompassed other of this one also, ideas also, not just politics. It also became secular in the sense it was no longer connected with just the king. It talked about history, talked about man, and how man is and involved in his daily life, how it is uh, just it should not just be about king or politics, it should also be about man himself. So history started becoming more secular and very instructive. It also became philosophical, just like the Greeks used to do. So, more importantly, it was also during the time that there was Reformation and Renaissance. So, Renaissance was a kind of rebirth, and it affected all fields like art, literary field, culture, everything. So, even history got affected with the Renaissance period. So, not only that. There were three before we come to the three main schools. Modern historiography was not like medieval historiography was more to do with divine will and about church and about events and all. But modern historiography was more about ideas and how man can be happy, and it was a mixture of philosophy, everything. So Renaissance had a lot of effect on the modern era. So here there are three main schools. One is Enlightenment period, Romanticism, and Positivism. All the three different periods we will see. So first we will look into the Enlightenment historiography. So every this one that comes into like every history that is being narrated will be reflecting the particular country, particular time period. Okay, so for example, if you think about India under the British times, so the British historians used to try to put India as a country down, and they tried to bring that British company administrators were better administrators. They tried to awaken India. So the history they wrote was different from the Indian writers themselves, who brought in Indian culture into highlighted Indian culture. So even though history should not be biased or there should not be partiality, but the way the British historians interpreted the country and the way Indian historians interpreted the history was totally different. So that is the modern period that I'm talking about. But similarly, the Enlightenment historiography, Enlightenment was the period of awakening. It was called as the period of illumination. So everything was opposite to the church historiography. So in the medieval period, church was the center of all things. So in Enlightenment historiography, whatever writers, whatever the period was, which was sometime in mid 17th century, it was more to do with opposition to the church. So it was like a new age. So the lifetime for Enlightenment historiography was from the 1637 to 1804. It is like the mid 17th century. So again, it was opposition to the church, and it was said that it was the age of light. It's a new age. So all ancient periods of the church and all was full of darkness. Enlightenment period is age of light. That's how they described it. It was called as age of light, age of reason, illumination, enlightenment. So all this period was known as light and enlightenment period, okay, or progress and all that. So Latin was discarded because Latin was the the language used by the clergymen and monk and all. So they gave more importance to national languages, the local languages. They considered the new age was the age of reason, and the old was not gold. Old was full of darkness. Okay, so ancient times was full of darkness, and so was discarded. Okay, and some of the examples of the historians during this time was Voltaire and Edward Gibbon, who conformed to this period of enlightenment. We will look into these both historiographers in the future slides. So this is another example. So people used to talk about reason, talk about enlightenment, you talk about illumination, talk about progress, reason instead of authority of the church. So next we come to the Romanticist period, which was again that whatever romantic period came about, this was in the 19th century. It was a reaction to the Enlightenment period. So uh, this was so it was a reaction against rational approach or reason. So what they did here was they gave more importance to imagination, fantasy, sentiment, emotions. So more, it was more to do with imagination rather. So it came about in the late 18th century. Reason was again discarded for in preference to fantasy. So everything was poetic and pictureful and extravagant. All this was there. Okay, so this trend originated in France. Some of the historiographers during this period was Rausia, Carle, and Marx, which we will be looking into in other slides. So everything here again, like in the Enlightenment historiography, everything old was not celebrated, but in Romanticist, everything old was celebrated, and inspiration was from the Middle Ages. So you saw, right? In Enlightenment historiography, whatever against came was Romanticist. So Romanticist was a reaction against the Enlightenment historiography. So here are some paintings which depicts nature, man. So his man's, illumination, man, dreams, his desires. So all this was more and more common in Romantic period. Next, we look into the positivist historiography. So this was again a reaction to the previous period, that was Romanticism. So positivist is more to do with scientific. It was more to do with let's do everything scientific. Let us do historical inquiry scientific. Let us try to do unbiased look way of looking into facts and things. Let us try to discover motives and explain the process of events. This was how they used to think during the positivist period. So one of the main forefathers of positivist historiography was Auguste Comte. So everything should be questioned scientifically. So when you start, that's Auguste Comte says everything should be questioned scientifically so that you can form the laws. And once you can form the laws, even future can be predicted. That's how the positivists used to think. So they felt that all the facts, common facts, can be, laws can be formed out of it. So according to them, let's say, for example, there is a battlefield, there is a battle, and you look into all the common facts, and you realize that after every battle there is peace union body coming up. Like, for example, in the World War I, you got the League of Nations. After World War II, you got the UNO coming up. So, uh, according to positivists, there will be, so if there is a World War III, there is going to be another peace body coming up. So that is how they predict the future. That's how they form the laws. The law could be every battle leads to a peace body. So everything they question scientifically, take all common facts, they try to frame laws. So everything is stresses on scientific inquiry of all historical facts. So future can be predicted, as I said. So this is about the three periods of modern historiography. We will look into them in the future slides when we look into the other historiographers. So our future slides will be all about different historiographers of the modern period. So thank you.